Oliver Boote is the UK Facilities Manager at Mace for Colt. He manages 10 sites across the UK, delivering first-class facilities and workplace services across his clients' offices, data centres and node sites. We spoke to Oliver about how his team provides best-in-class workspaces and how he plans to achieve zero waste to landfill across Colt's entire portfolio. Please introduce yourself and your current role.
My name's Oliver Boote. I'm the UK Facilities Manager for Mace on the Colt Technology Services portfolio. I've been at Mace for a year now. Before that I was working for Imperial College London for the business school as a facilities coordinator was the role there. And prior to that my career was in recruitment.
Tell us more about the portfolio you manage and the challenges involved.
Yeah, so Mace has a contract with Colt across all of Europe. I'm responsible for UK sites, so I've got 10 sites in the UK. They are a mixture of offices, of data centres and what we call node sites. Now, node sites are very briefly telecoms interchanges, so we pull a lot of the fibre to your FTSE 250, a lot of those large businesses in multi-tenanted buildings. The nodes are kind of the joining point for the Colt network before it goes out to the client sites. The portfolio itself is around 800,000 square foot. Now a lot of that is two of our largest data centres, and then Colt House, which is the global headquarters, that is around 75,000 square foot, and that is a solely owned building. We look after that. We are the sole occupier, we own the building, so we are responsible for both the landlord statutory compliance elements as well as delivering the workplace function, workplace experience to the Colt employees. The biggest challenge we have is that with it being such a varied portfolio, one minute we're dealing with, boardroom setups and meeting requests, and we are catering for VIPs, and then the next minute I've got a airlock door that's gone wrong and broken in one of our node sites, which is unmanned, and sort of managing the team across the portfolio from a reactive perspective can be quite challenging. And then with the data centres being secure environments, very difficult to get into, lots of checks and balances around our contractors, around who we use, how we engage with them. That presents challenges that, some of the areas we have 48-hour access requests. So if we're going to do some work and we get a date from a contractor, we have to have all that lined up, all the RAMs, everything approved beforehand, before we can raise the access. And then if something goes wrong or an engineer can't make it or there's an emergency somewhere else, we kind of have to start all over again. And that does impact our lead times, and it does sometimes cause a bit of, not frustration, but it kind of creates a bit of a block between what we'd like to deliver and how we actually end up delivering.
How are your team ensuring they deliver a great workplace experience for those attending the office?
But what we are doing is we've kept the levels that we've had consistently, and just trying to use those resources to deliver it at a higher spec, because actually they're not running around having to do 500 million little jobs from a cleaning perspective. So actually, can we spend 5 minutes longer in the bathrooms and get it from looking nice to looking really nice? Can we look at the small things whereby do we need to, so we're looking at, can we, for example, this is a really small thing, but our soap dispensers, we've historically got big things on the wall because they used to fill them up, and we might actually go through that in a day and a half. Well, actually, can we look at smaller, nicer, kind of more like that you'd find in your hotels and things like that, whereby because there's less traffic, there is a reduction in use, so we can use higher quality items and still spend less than we were spending when we were using the cheaper mass volume appliances. So that's kind of some of the little things that we're doing. We've Again, it's a small thing, but we've upgraded the tea that we're using. It's now a certified B Corp that we use that provide jobs to people, principally refugees, but also other people who have got limited access to employment or historically struggle to get into the labour market. Now, it is a lot more expensive than per unit than we used to spend, but our actual overall spend is less than it was because we're buying fewer of a higher quality product. And so where we don't have to mass provide, buy stuff in, go through 1,000 tea bags a day, we can increase the quality, provide ethical, sustainable choices that impact into our ESG platforms and our ESG goals, better service to employees, but actually we're spending less money than we ever have done. And so that's a small microcosm, but we're when we add all those little things up, it's about how can we just turn the dial a little bit on what that experience is in office for a smaller, regular workforce.
What sustainability initiatives are on your client's agenda?
Colt's got a big push for zero waste to landfill across its entire portfolio. This isn't some far off lofty goal. We've got 12, 18 months to deliver a lot of this. We have really heavily reduced things that we buy. A lot of our sites have no coffee cups anymore. And when I say that, no single-use coffee cups, because they can be recycled, but only in very dedicated waste streams, and they contaminate so many other waste streams that we have decided in many instances that we just don't have them. So we have ceramic cups, which is actually a nicer experience for most of the employees. It is a better way, a more enjoyable way, particularly for tea, a nicer way to drink it. And we have eliminated that waste stream coming on our site. We worked out that we used 55,000 coffee cups a year just in the UK, which is an astronomical number, but when you boil it down per employee per day, isn't a lot. So we were talking about how we make reductions, how we do things, and we sort of just went, well, it is behavioural, but if we just take them away and provide a better alternative, that we can what would be somebody needing 400 or 500 cups a year actually can use 2 or 3 reusable ones over the course of a year, because we accept that some are going to break and go missing, but actually we hugely move the goalposts on that. And it's even when you get into embedded carbon and all those sort of stuff, you're still so much better off from what is frankly quite an easy thing, as long as you communicate it and you explain to people. And we were expecting some pushback, and site management were really worried when we said we were going to do it, because they're like, oh, there's going to be uproar. And other than the odd quibble when someone's had to wash a cup up because the dishwasher wasn't quite finished and our cleaning teams hadn't quite restocked everything, there's never been any issues, and actually everyone's come on board with it. And I think it's quite empowering for us to go, what we thought was going to cause a bit of outrage actually doesn't if it's communicated properly. And that has given us impetus to do other things and just go, do you know what, we're going to change that, because it's really, really difficult to do anything sustainable with this waste stream. Let's just get rid of it and use an alternative. And where we thought there would be uproar and challenges, actually we're kind of confident we can go, no, we can manage this, we can communicate this, and people will be okay with it.